welcome back to A Boeing Revolution, the YouTube channel dedicated solely to the Boeing Company. We've had a really good day yesterday, an excellent announcement. We have a project in Chicago, it's been confirmed. The Boeing Company is going to be completing that project once they have the final approval. I thought we could talk about that today. So, major Boeing Company announcement. Approval has been given to build a high-speed transit system connecting O'Hare International Airport and downtown Chicago. So, if you've been watching the news yesterday, you will have noticed that Elon Musk was very present in the news. I've actually previously talked about this project in my previous news episode. If you want to go back and watch that. That was in regards to this project. However, I had no idea that an announcement was anytime soon. So it was a complete shock to me to read this yesterday. So here's the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. Mr. Musk's company has been chosen to build a transportation alternative. This transformative project will help Chicago write the next chapter in our legacy of innovation and invention. Mr. Emanuel said in a statement promising that not a single taxpayer's dollar would be spent on the project. So basically, every single dollar is coming from the Boeing Company. City officials hope for construction to begin within a year and to last less than 3 years. Bringing Chicago's economic engines closer together will keep the city on the cutting edge of progress, create thousands of good-paying jobs, and strengthen our great city for future generations. Rahm Emanuel. Fantastic news. The vehicles could leave downtown and be at O'Hare as frequently as every 30 seconds. The city says they would exceed 100 miles per hour and make the entire trip from downtown to O'Hare International Airport in less than 12 minutes. So at the press conference we had Rahm Emanuel and Elon Musk. Elon Musk had a lot to say, which was excellent. So here we have it. Elon Musk, the high-speed pods that will be travelling in the tunnels will be made by Tesla. Now, if you go back to my previous video, I predicted exactly this. They will roll off the production line, a Tesla production line. They will be based on the Model X chassis, possibly a strengthened version. They'll probably be maybe 2 to 3 foot longer, but we will find that out at a later date. So here's Elon Musk again. We have 24 months as an aspirational target. So actually 24 months from today, we could see the first working pods. Elon Musk was attracted to the city's lack of bureaucracy. In some places, you could be facing upwards of 12 or 15 different separate authorities in order to get approval to do something. Just to get approval to actually build the project, 15 different separate authorities, which is just ridiculous. We need a more streamlined process. That's coming from LA, by the way. So in Chicago, it's very different. In Chicago, that's a far smaller number. So that's why we want to do what we think will be the first publicly useful version of the loop from the Boeing Company in Chicago. Asked what he personally gets out of the project, Musk said, first of all, I should preface this by saying what I would ask is that this is a difficult thing that we're doing. It's a hard thing, it's a very new thing, and I'd hope that you would cheer us on for this, because if we succeed, it's going to be a great thing for the city, and if we fail, well, I guess me and others will lose a bunch of money. I hate him to say it, it could happen. You know, we've spoken previously about him going bankrupt, possibly because of the sheer scale of what the Boeing Company wants to achieve. However, this project is actually a good starting point. So, why is this such a huge breakthrough for the Boeing Company? An unexpected win. The Boeing Company was just an idea 18 months ago. It literally was just an idea in Elon Musk's head, sat in traffic, wasting away time in LA, And here we are. Confirmation that the Boeing Company will actually build the loop. Not in LA, but in Chicago. And it will be functioning, hopefully, in 24 months' time. First ever successful tender for a project. Literally, this is the first project they tendered for to get this link between Chicago downtown and O'Hare International Airport. One tender, one success, 100% record. Boeing Co. successfully outbid 2 other proposals from established players. So there were 2 other proposals for basically light rail systems, sort of underground, sort of tube type systems. I believe the top speed was 70, 80 miles per hour. Nothing that amazing. We've had projects like that back 40, 50, 60 years ago. So it wasn't anything amazing. But they won the project because what they were doing was unique, it was groundbreaking, and it had ambition. So this proves the Boeing Company system can beat light rail in all areas. The build cost, the top speed of the system, the acceleration, and the running cost. In all areas, the Boeing Company's loop system beats light rail. And it's proven here. It's not that difficult to outbid companies when all they're putting forward is the same old from 50, 60 years ago. We can do better. And that's why we've got the Boeing Company. The opportunity to win more projects worldwide on the back of this. So there's a really big opportunity here to win more projects based on this, because it will be proving that the urban loop is the future. So if this can be delivered on time, on budget, and to a high standard of quality, boom, we are in here to get more projects. That is why I've done this channel, because I want to see this all over the world. Also, a bit of a bonus, this project will be 100% privately funded. There is absolutely no risk on Chicago for doing this project. If it doesn't go well, you can simply just forget about it. Here's an initial render. If you go onto the Boeing Company website, you can find there's a new column for the Chicago project. So this is O'Hare Airport Station. As you can see, we've got bays for up to 5 pods. I believe there's 5 bays, yes, or 6 bays. Yes, 6 bays there. How these pods will actually turn around and go back through the tunnel, not entirely sure. Maybe they reverse. I don't know, but one of the key things you should notice from this is the actual glass screens that run around the outside. I believe they're going to use that for the external lift shafts to prevent people falling down, and that's sort of the aesthetic of how it's going to look. Here's some initial renders that we've seen before. Bottom left, we have the pod side on. You can see we've got a C-shaped bench that goes around the outside or the border of the pod. Plenty of seating for 16 people. It'll be air conditioned, it'll have Wi-Fi, there's space for bags as well, so really excellent layout there, really modern design. So here we go. Here's a map of the route. This is the initial, this is what the light rail, the route of the initial light rail system that already runs. So I imagine it would actually run a similar route to this, maybe even underneath. We'll have to find out. I imagine it'll be running under private property, therefore they'll either run it under roads or under the railway lines. So it starts there at block 37, which has actually has the facilities underneath it for an underground system when it was built. However, they've been basically lying there for the last 15 years, just gathering dust. That project cost 250 million, and the infrastructure's there and it's not doing anything. So I can imagine that this is going to be utilised for this scheme. Let's look at the fundamentals. I know I covered this in a previous video, but it's very similar, but it's worth looking at again. Maybe we've got some new viewers who want to just start with this video. It is limited in scale. This particular project is just simply one route from downtown Chicago to O'Hare International Airport. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's quite good to start small and build big later on. So it's a good opportunity. It's around 16.3 miles. I believe there'll be 2 tunnels running alongside one another. Again, that's a bit of an assumption. There may be other tunnels that link up with a main tunnel. But it's not that long, 16.3 miles. Electric skates will depart every 30 seconds. Now that's quite key, because that will allow lots of people to use the system at rush hour. Will utilise glass pods or skates, as they're now referred, with a capacity of 16 passengers. The current blue line takes 40 minutes. Wow, it's a long time to travel just 16.3 miles. The Boeing Company will do it in 12 minutes. So that's pretty decent. So that's an average speed in excess of 100 miles per hour. Obviously they have to accelerate and deaccelerate at the end, so the average speed will be above 100 miles per hour across that 16.3 miles. Chicago City Council will begin one-on-one negotiations with a final agreement presented to the City Council. So they're already in negotiations to agree where it's going to start, where it's going to finish, the fundamentals of the project, whether they're going to have these micro stations all over downtown. That'll be key. I guess we'll find out more about that later on in the year. But they are pretty much guaranteed to get the project now, as long as they can produce the right design, which they will do, because Elon Musk is going to put more time into the company now to lead this project. So this is where the bulk of the pods will arrive and depart, which is block 37, which is right in the heart of downtown. Now, I'm unsure whether most of the pods will depart from block 37, or they will have lots of micro stations across downtown. It was not mentioned, however, that is fundamental to the Boeing Company's system, in that you can get on at various points. You don't have hundreds and hundreds of people queuing up just to get on a pod at block 37. That would not work, and I wouldn't want to see that. I want to see lots of different stations. On this diagram here, we have possible locations for some stations. Some are here along Madison Street, and there's, I believe, Washington Street is the other one here. At some point, the system would need to do a U-turn. So just as an idea, really, I thought maybe they could use the park here, Maggie Daly Park. Maybe they could do a U-turn there. So it's got quite a deep curve at the end there, allowing it to decelerate quickly, turn around, accelerate quickly, and then obviously you've got your micro stations here in the park, which I think is a decent idea. It wouldn't be that difficult to acquire land there. Obviously, it'd be only a small parcel of land. Maybe 2 parking spaces in each location, maybe 3. You might even be able to build a permanent structure that covers this micro station, maybe with greenery atop, maybe grass or some shrubs, which would fit in with that location, which would be great. And obviously it would offer rain cover, which would, again, would be a decent idea. So please, Elon, if you're watching, take on that idea. So my thoughts on this: I was very happy to hear this news. I've been reading news pretty much all day about this project. I've been watching YouTube, watching various videos. It's exciting, real exciting to see this happening in Chicago. It's obvious that the Boeing Company is really struggling with some regulations and just the bureaucracy of LA. And Chicago's just a better place to build, because you've only got 3 or 4 people you need to deal with. And it's a good initial project for the Boeing Company to cut its teeth. Why? Because it's small scale. It gives them a really good opportunity to test the technology that they've been working on the last 18 months and really sort of perfect it for this area. So clearly the proposal was groundbreaking and innovative. He just blew Rahm Emanuel out of the park because it was a great idea. It was a good costing and he could do it quickly. So Elon Musk sold a bold vision to Rahm Emanuel. A bold vision where you get on the pod, 150 miles an hour. In fact, he mentioned 155 miles an hour from downtown to the airport. Boom, you jump off and you're at the airport, which is a huge improvement on the existing 40 minutes using the train, or an hour and 10 minutes if you use a cab, especially if it's rush hour or near to rush hour. You're going to be stuck in a cab for an hour and a half maybe. This was groundbreaking. Rahm Emanuel was blown out of the water by the innovative nature of this project, and that's why he's put his faith in Elon Musk, because he's taken a bit of a risk here because this has never been done before. And to be fair, Elon Musk did a brilliant sell on this job. So we'll start off with 2 tunnels, so it'll be 33 miles of tunnels if they're around 16.3 miles each. I expect that 2 tunnels is not going to be enough. So initially they won't be running enough pods to keep up with demand. There will probably be queues. So I expect it to be expanded to 4 tunnels in the future, which will be 66 miles in total. Also a big prediction, I believe this will eventually lead to a 600-mile urban loop in Chicago. And I expect Elon Musk will have spoke to the mayor about this and said, look, let me prove this technology works. Let me prove that I can transport people at 155 miles an hour. And once I do that, let's talk about expanding this system. Let's talk about going from downtown to the suburbs. Let's talk about transporting people all over the city. Yeah? Because if he proves that he can do it here, and he proves that he can dig a tunnel 18 foot an hour, I believe he can dig 18 foot an hour using currently modified machines. Wow, we could have 600 miles of urban loop. We could really reduce congestion in Chicago. So, how does Elon Musk make the Chicago urban loop a success? It's going to be very, very difficult. This is a big challenge for Elon Musk. Now, I'm not saying it's as big a challenge as launching a rocket and then landing it again on numerous occasions, but it's still going to be tricky. He's going to have to raise possibly $1 billion, and he's obviously going to overcome many, many problems in delivering this system. He doesn't even have the manufacturing ability or capability to deliver enough pods, so he's going to have to start thinking about that straight away. So I think all this is very key, and he needs to ensure that all these get looked at. So he needs to study and understand the route geology. Now, along that route, there will be various different types of geology. I also imagine the water table will cause some issues. However, we'll have to see. So he'll have to do a study, and he'll have to really think about how he's going to do it to reduce disruption during the boring of the tunnels. He needs to find a top project manager to lead the build. Must be innovative and driven. You want a big player from the construction industry who's got 20, 30 years of build experience on big projects, ideally. Someone who is looking for a big project to get onto. So maybe they could even come on and lead the team at a later date in terms of other projects in other cities, but someone with a big vision who's very, very driven. Right, during the build they're going to have to continuously innovate because they're going to come up against project problems. So you're going to need to speed up the process of boring. I imagine at some point they will probably get stuck somewhere, so they will need the other machines If they use 4 machines, they will need to get the other machines, doing potentially 18, 19, maybe even 20 foot an hour of boring. So I need to use multiple TBMs. There's been talks of using Limestorm, which is the modified boring machine that they currently have right now, and also Proof Rock, which is going to be the big machine with all the technology put into it. However, that's not even they've not even finished designs for Proof Rock, so it's unlikely. However, maybe later on in the project they might be able to get Proof Rock on there. But certainly Limestorm is going to be the main TBM or TBMs that they use on this build, and they'll need to evolve that TBM to get better performance. They will need to bring in expertise full-time from Tesla and SpaceX. Currently they have various people who work for Tesla and work for SpaceX that are helping out the Boeing Company maybe 1-2 days a week. So they're working essentially part-time for both SpaceX and for the Boeing Company. We need to get some of those people on full-time, really, to drive this project forward. So it needs to finish on time, not Elon time. And that is difficult. My background is in construction, and I know, to finish on time is bloody difficult. Even with the best laid plans, something will go wrong. Something will happen with subcontractors. Something will go wrong with, in terms of designing it, if it's a design and build. And you've just got to accept it's going to be difficult. But I think Elon will prove himself on this and deliver it on time, potentially in 24 months from today. Let's hope so. Finish under budget. So if these TBMs are really cutting through the rock quickly, we should be able to finish under budget. I think it will be way under $1 billion, way under that number, but we'll see. This is a well thought through scheme. Elon Musk and his team have looked at this extensively, and they know where they can save money and how they're going to do it, and it's going to be through being more efficient than anything ever attempted. Very, very efficient process of digging tunnels. So this is bloody awesome news. I was so excited yesterday when I seen this. So excited. It's brilliant to see. I believe this is the first of many projects, and hopefully once they've proved it in Chicago, they can begin expanding in Chicago. Hopefully by that stage they will have got the project underway in LA. Again, that's another proving ground for the Boeing Company. After that, great. More content for this channel. With more news about new projects they're starting, and that's going to be great. My dream is to see urban loops all over the world, every corner, every continent, every corner of the world, not just Chicago and Los Angeles. So, a few of ideas that I've pulled out. Delhi, India. The traffic in Delhi, India is insane. It literally takes you an hour to travel 2 or 3 miles on a bad day. An hour to travel 3 miles. That is insane. Manchester, UK, which is here where I am right now. At certain times, traffic is horrendous. The local newspaper has been talking about potential schemes going under Manchester, new rail tunnels. Sack it off. Let's go for a Boeing Company urban loop. Madrid, Spain, terrible traffic. They have underground motorways. They've really been ploughing money into that, and this is a better solution. So let's get on to that. Sydney, Australia. Again, traffic is horrendous. Seoul in South Korea. Perfect. Lagos, Nigeria. Traffic is so bad you would not believe it. Literally, average speed at rush hour is around 2 miles per hour, if not less. If you're going in a certain direction, you're not going to like it. So, let's do some predictions. My prediction about Tesla manufacturing the pod for the Boeing Company came true. I'm going to produce a new video just specifically on the glass pods very soon, so please stay tuned. So that prediction came true, so I thought, well, let's make some more predictions. I seem to be getting everything right so far. Let's get on it. So the next announcement could be a Hyperloop in Washington. Now, I know this has been in the news in the last year or so about the Baltimore to DC Hyperloop, maybe even pushing that up to New York. Who knows? I think there'll be a big announcement in the next 6 to 12 months regarding that project. Hopefully Elon Musk is not overstretching himself, but that would be excellent to see. I think that will happen in the next 6 to 12 months. You heard it here first. So, here's a Hyperloop pod. Here's my second prediction. The Boeing Company pods will be built in a purpose-built manufacturing facility, either in LA, Illinois, New Mexico, or Nevada. Now, why do I think this? It's based on solid grounds. I know that Tesla needs to manufacture their new semi-truck somewhere. They need to manufacture the Roadster in a new facility, and they're currently banging out Model X's at record numbers, and they are kind of getting to 100% capacity at Fremont. So I think they will build a new purpose-built factory. In that factory, they will have a line specifically for the trucks or the semi-trucks. They'll have a line specifically for pods. They will have a line specifically for Model X. So I believe Model X production will move from Fremont factory to this new facility, and they will expand the Model S production at Fremont. Yeah, and I believe that will all be encapsulated at this new facility. And I believe it will be 95% automated. The vast majority of it will be machines. It will be immensely efficient. So, thank you for watching. Again, we're doing fantastic. We're getting more subscribers. I've not been doing that this long. I'm going to get lots more videos on. It seems to be every time there's some news on the Boeing Company, I get a load of subscribers, 300%. So I had 2 subscribers and it went up to 8. So that's fantastic. It's not brilliant, but we're getting there. We're getting there. If we continue at this rate, by the end of the year, I might have 600-700 subscribers, which is perfect. We're looking for that hockey stick of growth, just like Elon Musk. A lot more content is coming next week. There's going to be a lot more videos. We're going to be talking about the glass pods. We're going to be talking about the elevators. We're going to be talking about the actual tunnels themselves. Please like and subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. The more people that join the channel, the more people they will talk to. They'll pass it on to the friends, and we can hopefully get up to 1,000 subscribers pretty quickly. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Don't be boring. Be fun.